empowered and strong, navigating safely through the storms of life. Choices. Life has a funny way of moving on, and we move along with it too. Some of us can match life's pace, while some of us get dragged along. The point is that life moves on whether we like it or not. We look back at the times gone by and the decisions we made in the past. Decisions are all about choices and the pros and cons associated with them. We look back and question these decisions. We fall in the trap of judging ourselves, and guilt often follows self-judgment. One of my friends has a tendency to get nostalgic and talk about the bad choices he has made in his past. He walks around with a big burden of guilt. We have had various discussions on this, and he sure knows the talk. He often says that hindsight is 20/20, but is never able to get rid of the guilt. One day we were walking past a fried chicken fast food place, and a thought struck me. I looked at him and said, "Imagine I tied your hands and legs, tied you into a chair in the chicken place, and asked you to make as many meal choices as you wanted. Every time you would open your mouth to make a choice, all you'd get would be chicken. You can make 1,000 choices if you wanted to, but all you would get would be chicken. Now, if you wanted pizza, you would have to untie yourself and start walking towards a pizza place." He looked at me in a puzzled way. We only have so many possibilities to choose from in life. The choice we do end up making is usually the least damaging of the options available to us at the time. That is life. Sometimes circumstances only come up with, say, 3 choices, and not all of them might be good ones, but we end up picking the one choice that is the least damaging. This is only a problem when we look back at those decisions and start judging ourselves to see if we made the right choices. Invariably, we find that our judgment was wanting. We find that we made the wrong choice. This leads to the usual feelings of low confidence and guilt. The question is, why? Why this dichotomy? Well, the interesting fact is that when we look back in hindsight, we see everything and account for the choices we've made. But we forget to take note of the choices that were really available to us at the moment of choosing. We forget that the reason we only got chicken was not because we didn't want pizza, but because we were trapped in the chicken place. We forget the circumstances with which we were dealing. We forget we had limited choices available to us, and even then we choose the option that was least damaging to us. So, is hindsight really 20/20? I looked at my friend after we had the above mentioned discussion. It was like a light bulb had lit up. He sat down on a bench and let out a sigh. He said, "All my life I have looked back at things that I've done, decisions that I've made, and judged myself. I was judging myself all these years. I was never a good judge. I never accounted for the really limited choices I had at the time and my circumstances. Without accounting for these factors, I was in no position to judge anybody, let alone myself. Yet, I judged myself and was walking around with this feeling of guilt and worthlessness." As he spoke, tears were streaming down his face, and he was sobbing uncontrollably. It was getting a bit uncomfortable for me, and then he looked up. The tears were still streaming, but he was smiling. He said, "I feel so light and free. All this time I doubted my judgment skills, but now I see what a good job I did, even under those difficult circumstances. The reason I felt bad about myself was the very reason I should feel proud of myself." He was right. If we look hard enough into the days gone by and the decision we've taken, we would often be surprised at how good we really are under those circumstances. we will be surprised at how we manage to free ourselves and start walking towards the local pizza parlor. Some of us might still be in the tied up stage, but it is important to remind ourselves that regardless of what our circumstances might be and how limited our choices are, we will be able to choose the least damaging choice, because that is who we are. That is what we have always done, and that is what defines us as human beings. We have no reason to walk with the burden of guilt over decisions made in the past. Don't like the circumstances and the choices available? Change them.